Okay guys, today we're doing 8.2, Fundamental Theorem of Calculus, and another way of writing this, what you'll see other teachers saying or the internet, is they'll call this FTC, just making the word Fundamental Theorem of Calculus a little bit easier. So if you're going to Google this, Google FTC, or you could Google Fundamental Theorem of Calculus. Okay. It's a very quick one for today. Okay, guys, all I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with integrals that are boost and divide. Okay, so we're basically going to be giving some more practice to doing these boost and divide problems that we did in chapter 6. So, did I click on the right thing? No, clicked on arrow. Okay, so here we're doing an integral from -2 to 2. You guys should be able to do this integral if you don't have a lower and upper bound. Today I'm going to show you how to deal with that lower and upper bound, okay? But you should be able to do the integral without them. So let's just do the integral of this and ignore the bounds for now. So if you're doing the integral of these terms, remember you always do it term by term, and in this case all three terms require boost and divide. So let's just walk through it. Boost and divide this one would be 3x cubed over 3 plus 4x squared over 2 minus 5x. Okay, we boost and divided every term. Now, like I said, today's worksheet is all boost and divide. Remember there's two ways to take integrals, or in Cal 1, there's two ways to take integrals. There's a boost and divide and there's a U sub, which I will show you how to do U sub on a later lesson. Okay, now when you have bounds, after you do the integral, you always want to put it in parentheses. And you know what? I probably should have put, you guys are probably wondering why I didn't put a plus C. Okay, so let's put a plus C for now. Okay, I can't erase that thing, or I would. So ignore that bracket I put there. There's a plus C right here. Okay, now we still have these lower and upper bounds. I want to put them somewhere. I am going to put them at the end here. That's how you denote in calculus that we took an integral, but we haven't found the area between -2 and 2. Because remember, that's what an integral sign means. It means find the area between -2 and 2. So this is how we denote we have not found that area, but we did find the integral, which is a function to find the area. Okay, let's simplify this. So if you want to follow steps on this, today will be boost and divide. So boost and divide. Now remember, in the future it might be boost and divide or it might be U sub. 2 is going to be simplify it. Yeah, because you don't want to deal with this function if it's not simplified. In this case, simplifying means the 3's cancel there. So we got x cubed plus those cancel, leaving me with a 2. 2x squared minus 5x, and I'm going to have a plus C at the end here. I am not going to be writing this plus C in the future, and you'll see why in a little bit. Okay, and the next one is to find the area, to actually get the area of the things. You plug in the upper bound, okay, so upper bound, and then you're going to get the answer there, and then you subtract it by plugging in the lower bound. And this will give you the area of the function from -2 to 2. So we're going to plug in the upper bound. So we're going to plug in 2. So we're going to have 2 cubed plus 2 times 2 squared. That's me plugging in the upper bound into the x value. Minus 5 times 2 plus c. Okay, that's the upper bound. I'm going to put it all in parentheses. Now I'm going to subtract. I'm going to plug in the lower bound. So -2 cubed plus 2 times -2 squared minus 5 times -2 plus c. Okay, let's work this out. Okay, so this is going to be 8 plus 8. This is 8 as well. Yeah, 2 times 4 is 8. Minus 10. So we got 16 minus 10, so we're going to get 6 plus c. That's what this whole first part comes out to. Minus, let's do this one. This will be -8, and that'll be 4 times 2, so that'll be +8. So these two terms cancel each other out. And then this is +10, so we got a parentheses 10 plus c. Now guys, I had to put parentheses because I haven't distributed, this negative needs to distribute, right, into each term. I was just putting the stuff on the inside of the parentheses together. I need to still make sure I distribute this negative to each term. So I'm going to have 6 plus c minus 10 minus c. Now look what happens with the c's. You got a plus and a minus c, and that's always going to happen. So you notice how when I did this integral, I kind of just put the bracket and I forgot about my plus c? That's because you don't need a plus c whenever you're doing what's called a definite integral, which means we have a lower and upper bound. So now whenever you do these lower and upper bound integrals, just forget about c. You don't need it because it's going to cancel out in every single term. If you want to, you can put a plus c and cancel them out every time. It's really up to you, but you don't need the plus c, so there's no reason to put it. Okay, we just need to finish this off. 6 minus 10 would give me negative 4. And that's going to be the area from negative 2 to 2 of this function. So from negative 2 to 2, most of this function is below the x-axis since we got a negative value. Okay, let's do this one over here. Now remember I said all of them today are boost and divide. This might look like a difficult boost and divide, but it's not. Remember, if you got one term on bottom, you can write it underneath each thing. So I'm going to have my integral from 0 to 5, x over x to the half, that's what a square root of x is, right? Plus 5 over x to the half. Yeah? So since we only had one term on bottom, it splits between every term on top. We can do that. Okay, now I have not taken an integral. I haven't boosted and divided or anything. I am still simplifying it. 0 to 5. These can go together. Remember, an exponent, when they're dividing, you subtract the exponent. So 1 minus a half leaves us with x to the half. And this one I can move to the top. So plus 5x to the negative half dx. Okay, so now we can go ahead and boost and divide. Okay, so boost and divide this one, it would be x to the 3 over 2, divide by 3, then divide by 2, which the 2 comes to the top, right? Okay, plus 5x. Remember how boost and divide works. You rewrite the coefficient in your variable, then you boost your exponent. So negative half plus 1 would give me a positive half. Divide by a half, which means the 1 goes on bottom, the 2 comes up on top. We're multiplying with it. And then I don't need the plus c. I can put brackets. I need my lower and my upper bound, 0 to 5. Okay, I'm going to now, so we did step 1, boost and divide. Step 2 is simplify what's in there. So let's rewrite this if it can be rewritten any simpler. 2x to the 3 over 2 over 3 plus 10 and just a half, so square root of x from 0 to 5. Okay, we're just plugging in 5. Okay, this is the next one, upper bound minus lower bound. We plug in 5 minus plug in 0. So let's plug in 5. We get 2 times 5 raised to 3 over 2 all over 3 plus 10 square root of 5. That is the upper bound. Minus, plug in the lower bound. 2 times 0 to the 3 over 2 all over 3 plus 10 times square root of 0. Now, this is nice when you plug in a 0. That makes this term 0 and this term 0, which makes this whole thing 0. And when you subtract 0, it doesn't change anything. So I can ignore this entire right-hand portion of the problem, and I just need to deal with this, and I got my answer. Now this we can simplify quite a bit. So stick with me and you'll see it. Okay, that really is the answer. Yeah, we can just simplify it. So if it's multiple choice, they're going to write it in the most simplified form. If it's free response, circle this thing, you're done. Okay, you don't need to simplify in free response. Okay, so this is the same as 2. Remember that divide by 2 is a square root. So square root 5 cubed over 3 plus 10 square root of 5. Well, I can rewrite this so I just have a 5 in here, not a 5 cubed. Remember what 5 cubed means. It means 5 times 5 times 5. So I'm going to write over here real quick. 5 times 5 times 5. If I multiply two of them, that makes 25. And the square root of 25 times 5, that's just 5. It can come out. So it would be 5 times square root of 5. And we can multiply it with this 2. So we're going to multiply that 5 that came out with the 2. So we're going to have 10 square root of 5 all over 3 plus 10 square root of 5. And if we want to put these two guys together, we can just use a common denominator. So make this 10 square root of 5 all over 3 plus 30 square root of 5 all over 3. We can put those together as 40 square root of 5 over 3. That's how it's going to be written in the multiple choice. Okay, so let's just go through these steps real quick. It's boost and divide, simplify what's inside of it, and then plug in your upper bound, subtract, plug in your lower bound. Okay, and that will give you the answer for the area between these two bounds, the lower and the upper bound. And that's it.